Okay, stop right there. I've got a kind of strained question for you, a real high-stakes one.
Hmm.
What if I told you that for, like, 90% of the single most common chronic health issue out there,
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yes.
talking high blood pressure, hypertension, the official cause is listed as essential,
Mm-hmm.
which, for anyone who doesn't speak fluent doctor, basically means we haven't got a clue.
Hmm.
Wouldn't you kind of want to know what the real cause might be?
It's Uh, it's more than just a fair question, isn't it? It really points to a huge gap in how we approach this. We've got this massive epidemic, and the standard way of dealing with it, often just lifelong meds to manage the symptom, the high numbers,
Exactly.
without ever really digging into why the pipes got tight to begin with.
It's like putting super expensive Band-Aids on a bursting dam and calling it, I don't know, preventative maintenance. It's kind of nuts,
Yay.
especially when there's just this mountain of evidence pointing to something underneath, something core that's just, well, ignored.
And that's really our mission for this deep dive today, to get past that essential shrug. We're going to unpack this surprising deficiency, one that seems to be overlooked all the time, but actually seems to control the whole system for keeping your arteries healthy and your blood pressure in check.
Oh.
It's not just about forcing the pressure down, it's about getting that flexibility back.
All right, I'm just going to say it, be bold right out of the gate here. The number one vitamin deficiency, the one most directly linked to high blood pressure,
Yeah.
to plaque building up, to that awful calcium hardening your arteries, it's vitamin D.
Yeah. It sounds almost too simple, maybe, but the effects are just huge because vitamin D is like the foundational regulator for that whole arterial system. When you really look at how the lining of the blood vessel works, vitamin D is basically in charge.
Okay, so let's get into that, the mechanism. Why is vitamin D so important for the inside of the artery? And, why are we so stuck on just treating the pressure number?
So to really get it, you need to picture where the problem starts. We're talking about the inside lining of your artery. It's not just some smooth pipe, right? It's lined with this incredibly thin, really delicate single layer of cells. It's called the endothelial layer.
Mm-hmm, endothelium.
Hmm.
And that layer is, well, it's everything. It's the critical security guard for your whole cardiovascular setup.
Yeah.
Think of it maybe like the super thin, delicate paint job on a really vital piece of machinery.
Okay.
It's constantly reacting to everything floating by, too much sugar, junk food stuff, stress hormones. It's the absolute first line of defense against damage.
And what happens to that security guard, that paint job, when vitamin D levels are low?
Well, that's the problem. That crucial inner layer, it loses its main protection. A massive amount of it gets really vulnerable to damage, to inflammation.
Yeah.
That's what kicks off the whole plaque building process.
And what's really fascinating is just how powerful vitamin D actually is here. We've seen research, studies that looked at like over 1,000 different natural compounds.
1,000. Wow.
Yeah, testing their effect on this endothelial layer. And guess what came out on top? Vitamin D. It was found to be the most potent natural protector they could find.
Okay, that's a huge statement. Out of 1,000 things, D is number one. That really tells you something. And it's not just sitting there, is it? It sounds like vitamin D has like 3 specific superpowers working right away to protect that lining.
It really does. It tackles the 3 main ways arteries break down. First, it's a really potent anti-inflammatory. It calms down the irritation from things like high blood sugar or stress.
Okay.
Second, it's a potent antioxidant, cleans up all that damaging free radical mess.
Right.
And third, and this is critical for blood pressure right now, it directly tells the endothelium to make more nitric oxide. And
Nitric oxide. Okay, I've heard of that. That's the arteries, like, chill out signal, right?
Exactly. We call it the chill pill sometimes. Its whole job is keeping the arteries relaxed, dilated. That's the science term. Vasodilation, widened.
Gotcha.
So when your nitric oxide production drops, which happens when that endothelial layer gets damaged or dysfunctional, often because D is low, what happens?
Arteries tightened up.
They start getting tight, the pipes constrict, and boom, blood pressure starts creeping up.
So this whole system, the relaxation, the contraction, the thing that basically sets your blood pressure, how wide those pipes are, it's pretty much run by vitamin D, keeping that inner lining happy and pumping out nitric oxide.
That's a great way to put it.
And if D is low, the lining fails, NO tanks, and you end up with chronic high blood pressure.
Precisely. And, that's just the protection on the surface level. But vitamin D's job, it goes way deeper, right into how the body manages calcium.
Calcium.
Vitamin D is what helps you absorb calcium from your food in your gut. It can boost it by, 20 times?
20 times.
Yeah. And that's crucial not just for bones, obviously, but calcium is needed for basically every important cell signal and communication pathway in your entire body.
Okay, so this is where it gets kind of dramatic, right?
Uh,
This leads us to the body's emergency plan when D is low, the parathyroid panic button.
Yeah, you could call it that. The body is incredibly focused, stubborn even, especially about blood chemistry. It is absolutely obsessed with keeping the calcium level in your blood perfectly stable. Non-negotiable. Has to happen for nerves and muscles to work right.
Okay.
So if you're chronically low in vitamin D, meaning you're just not absorbing enough calcium from your diet,
Yeah.
your body flips a switch. It goes into plan B. It starts a desperate search for calcium.
And this is where those little glands, the parathyroids, come in. The four tiny ones on the thyroid.
Exactly. They release parathyroid hormone, PTH. Think of PTH as the frantic internal banker. As soon as that blood calcium level dips, even a tiny bit because D isn't doing its job, PTH levels shoot way up. And it doesn't wait for permission. It just starts robbing calcium from the biggest, easiest place it can find it, your bones, your skeleton.
Wow. So it's literally pulling calcium out of your bone structure.
Yes. And this constant forced withdrawal, driven by that high PTH all the time, leads to what some researchers call the double disaster.
The double disaster. That sounds bad, really bad. The body basically eating its own bones just to keep the blood levels right.
That's essentially it. And here's what the double disaster looks like. On the one hand, the constant robbing, that leads straight to osteoporosis. Your bones get porous, literally developing holes. The structure weakens.
Okay, not bad enough.
But at the same time, because PTH is working like crazy and calcium is being yanked out and floating around, you get massive calcification, hardening in your soft tissues. Specifically, your arteries and your joints, they start filling up with calcium deposits.
Oh my God. So you're losing bone structure and making your arteries stiff and hard simultaneously.
Exactly. You're getting weaker bones and stiffer, less flexible blood vessels, all because the body is trying to compensate for low vitamin D.
And this whole situation, this chronic robbing state, that's called secondary hyperparathyroidism. It's not the glands themselves being faulty, but them reacting.
Precisely. It's secondary. The parathyroid glands are just doing what they're supposed to do when calcium seems low, but they're stuck in overdrive because the root problem, the D deficiency, isn't fixed.
Okay.
Which actually brings us back to something you touched on earlier. Why are doctors sometimes hesitant about vitamin D? They worry about toxic hypercalcemia, right? And getting too much calcium from a D overdose.
Yeah, wait a minute. If D is this powerful, and we're seeing this, is that fear justified? Are we ignoring a real danger? Or is it maybe misplaced?
Well, according to the leading researchers in this field, that fear seems vastly overblown compared to the actual widespread danger of chronic deficiency. The chronic low D causing this whole PTH mess, this double disaster, that is way, way, way more common and arguably more dangerous than actual vitamin D toxicity. Yeah. We have sources that cite one of the pioneers in vitamin D research, someone who studied high doses for decades, who says he has never seen a single documented case of toxic hypercalcemia caused just by taking high doses of vitamin D alone.
Okay, wow. They completely flips the script on the risk assessment, doesn't it? So we're mostly dealing with a body desperately trying to survive, being deficient, and ends up damaging itself by robbing bones and stiffening arteries. Yeah. But you said earlier, just taking vitamin D isn't the whole story. Once you start getting that calcium moving, you need like a crew to manage it.
Exactly right. Think of vitamin D as the foreman yelling, okay, absorb that calcium.
Yeah.
But you absolutely need the site supervisors, the construction crew, to make sure that calcium goes where it's supposed to deep into your teeth and bones, and crucially, stays out of the places it causes harm, like your arteries and joints.
Right.
And that crew, that's magnesium and vitamin K2.
Okay, the support crew. Let's break down what this arterial cleanup crew actually does. Magnesium first.
Yeah, magnesium is critical. It's like the calcium regulator. Magnesium by itself actually prevents a lot of cardiovascular issues because it helps manage how calcium moves in and out of cells. It's essential for allowing the muscle cells in your artery walls to contract normally, but also, crucially, to relax.
Relaxation again.
Yep. If you have too much calcium floating around without enough magnesium to balance it, your arteries can actually spasm and tighten up when they shouldn't.
So magnesium's kind of like the chill out buddy for calcium, telling it not to get too worked up everywhere.
That's a good way to think about it. And then you have vitamin K2. Its role is even more specialized.
Okay, what's K2's specific job in this?
K2 is the highly specific calcium traffic cop. Its job is laser-focused. It activates a protein called matrix glare protein, MGP. It's a bit technical, but stick with me.
Okay, MGP.
When MGP is activated by K2, its job is to actively prevent calcium from depositing in soft tissues like arteries. So K2 basically tells MGP, go grab that loose calcium out of the artery walls and other soft spots and escort it directly into the bones and teeth. It makes bones really dense and solid while cleaning out the arteries.
Wow. So K2 is literally taking calcium out of the arteries and putting it into the bones.
That's its main function regarding calcium. It's the ultimate anti-calcification factor for your blood vessels.
So that synergy, that teamwork, that's everything then. D gets the calcium in the door.
Right.
But K2 and magnesium are the ones deciding where it actually ends up, making sure it goes to the right address.
Absolutely essential. You cannot separate them if you want healthy arteries. Vitamin D protects the artery lining, less inflammation, more NO, all that good stuff we talked about. But it has to be paired with K2 and magnesium to stop that absorbed calcium from turning into plaque and hardening those arteries.
Makes sense.
If your D3 is chronically low, your arteries are just vulnerable to hardening plaque, which, as we know, is a huge risk for heart attacks, strokes, even peripheral artery disease. That can lead to terrible things like lower extremity amputation.
Wow. Okay, so from just dealing with high blood pressure all the way to potentially saving a limb, this trio, D3, K2, magnesium, it's incredibly important for just keeping your pipes healthy. Let's talk brass tacks then. What kind of dosages are actually being talked about in these research circles, and what do people need to know?
Well, some of the research aiming for what they consider optimal levels, which are often way higher than the standard recommendations, suggests that for someone actually dealing with hypertension, taking doses like maybe 30,000 IUs of vitamin D3 daily might be needed, at least initially, to quickly get levels up and restore function. Okay, but we have to inject some serious context here. That 30,000 IU number, that's a claim from specific research protocols aiming for really high therapeutic levels. And it's absolutely critical, non-negotiable. Before you start any new supplement plan, especially with doses like that, you must talk to your doctor. Get your current vitamin D level tested first. That's step one.
Got it. Absolutely. Doctor first, testing first. But let's not forget the original source, the free one. The best way to get your D levels up is still the sun, right?
Yeah.
Sources we looked at mentioned that just like 40 minutes of full-body sun exposure could give you 20,000 IUs. And lifeguards, people outside all day, they might hit 100,000 IUs in a day. The idea isn't to burn, obviously, but regular exposure. Get a little pink, then cover up or head inside.
And if you tie all this back to the big picture, instead of just masking the high pressure with a pill, understanding this core deficiency and the absolute need for the team D3, K2, and magnesium working together means you're actually addressing the root cause. You're working on the mechanism that keeps your arteries naturally relaxed, flexible, and, well, healthy.
Right. Let's get back to how the system is supposed to work. So what's the bottom line here? What does this all really mean for you listening? If 90% of high blood pressure is just labeled essential because, supposedly, we don't know the cause, and yet the actual control switch for keeping arteries flexible and blood pressure stable seems to be a vitamin, one we can get from just stepping outside. Are we maybe just chasing symptoms while ignoring the one thing our body desperately needs to stop it from, robbing its own bones and stiffening its own pipes? Something to maybe think about next time you're out in the sun, or the next time you wonder why that blood pressure number keeps ticking upwards.